Are you aware of any adults in your community who may have a learning disability? Yes, I know some adults in my community who has a learning disability.
Her learning disability is a different side of it, so we then can't understand what her learning disability is until she really gets, the right kind of support, or, people basically step in and go to the right services, really.
Autism is a form of learning disabilities. So I know someone around 15, 16 years old who has a difficulty of learning.
I think I know one lady, I would like to say lady of girl. She like looking 12 years, something like that. But it's not her age, but she is really, she needs support. And it is really, she is disabled. And she don't get any support. I don't know, of the government, of in our community, because she live with the cousin. And if you see her, you think, the people in outside, they don't have any money, and, I don't know what I say, drugs deal or something like that. It's not her, but she needs support, really. And that person, she is very illness issue, mental illness.
I wouldn't just point out anyone, but I would suspect there are some by interacting with them, and then the way they respond to certain things, maybe I could just add up and then come up with a conclusion that maybe he or she has a learning disability.
But because, like I said, with our cultural background, people don't come out in the open to disclose where they are disabled. But as somebody who's been through a lot of systems, my experience tells me we might have even more, only that they are not telling us. There might be more. But statistically, I think probably you're talking of well over 5 or more, well 10 of people within our community. If we can get to grips, say, let's have an assessment to all our people, I think you're going to find out that probably you come out with maybe 4, 5, or even 10. But because there's no system in place to be able to assess as to how far disability is, and again, even like we said earlier on, the definition as well, it's not very clear cut as to what level you can cut off to say, I think this is just a hardship, not a disability. And then that makes it even worse. So, in other words, we can only work on speculative figures here, but nothing there to be tangible to hold on to as statistics.
Do you know what support you can get if you have a person with a learning disability or a carer?
Yeah, not the disabilities, but I know ages which can support people who are also age concern, because I sometimes deal with age concern. I know that they support aged people, and there have been a complaint among the people say only those who are being looked after, they are the white people, but the black people who are age concern is not taking any initiative to look after them. The responsibility lies on the parents or on the relatives of whoever. If my mother is old, it's my responsibility to look after my mother until my mother dies. We never expect anybody else from somewhere else to come and look after. We don't do that. But not the disabilities. I haven't heard about the disabled ones.
I'm not too sure what's out there at all.
Lack of ignorance, I can call it, because, people don't think these people exist, you understand what I mean? People just live their own life, so they don't think they're existing. Everybody just struggles on its own, so they don't care. So that's the main problem. It's not just like Hero, but people care for everyone. That everybody have to live on a normal standard. We must have to have a normal standard of living, But if you compare it to the third world country, it's a lot of big difference.
I would say they do not know where to access this information because I think the main problem is lack of awareness. Parents and even themselves not aware they can access help and be able to live normally or be able to access anything as that person. So they keep on hiding and shut up and don't go anywhere. So it's two things really, in a sense.
I think that's where the problem comes in. I think probably there hasn't been much information about this, and people are not very much aware as to where they can get this kind of facilities. As a result, many people have just suffered in silence, which is a big problem, really. Again, you're showing me, I'm even alarmed by the number of organizations which are available out there, but yet our community, nobody has bothered to come to our community to talk about them, to explain to that this is the help is available. All we can do is just do what we can. But I'm glad that now you're coming up with some information where we can signpost our people to say, look, this help is available. If you are disabled and you are having these problems, this is what you can get. And you have shown me there. I don't know, I wonder how many are from Northampton.
To be honest with you, we really don't know where to go to until the meeting that yourself had set up at Dodgery Centre, and we came along and we were quite shocked and surprised from all the services that were there, and everybody popped up and said, oh, I'm from here and I do this and I do that. And so we basically went around when there was break time and picked up everybody's leaflets or cards and just to find out where people from our community can go to and find out these helps, because to be honest with you, we were not even find out if these people would exist really.
Maybe they don't know how to help them. That's the biggest problem.
That's why we like to meet those people if you can support us.
Yes, I don't know if they've done anything because like I said, they're not part of my family really. Not that I don't care, but I don't know if they've taken steps to get help from agencies, council or anywhere. But I think the family does play a part of looking after them.
I see a lot of people in Northampton, they're having it difficult. They never get support.
Apart from the mainstream one, like the question is, I can't remember of any other mainstream disability agencies which have come to speak to us about it, apart from the county council who have sent us leaflets about disability. And other than that, I can't think of anything else. If we hope some organizations like yours maybe can help us.
What is learning disability? The government white paper, Valuing People, defines learning disability as a significantly reduced general ability to understand new or complex information and to learn new skills, impaired intelligence IQ less than 70, coupled with a reduced general ability to cope independently, impaired social functioning. Learning disability is either present from birth or emerges through a child's early development years. Brain injuries that often occur after an individual has experienced normal child development are not usually classified as a learning disability. People with mild, moderate learning disabilities will usually be able to live independently with varying levels of support. People with severe learning disabilities need significant help with daily living. People with learning disabilities have these difficulties throughout their lifespan. While they can do learn new skills, their overall level of functioning and dependency remains fairly constant over time. There are two other terms that are used to describe people who have similar problems to people with learning disabilities: learning difficulties and developmental delay. Although there are some overlaps, these people do not have generalised learning disabilities. What is a learning difficulty? Some people may have either general learning difficulties or specific learning difficulties. In both cases, however, their level of intellectual functioning falls within the normal range, i.e. an IQ of 70 or more. People with general learning difficulties will probably have a mild impairment in intellectual functioning, e.g. IQ scores of 70 to 80. This means they may struggle with a range of tasks such as reading, writing, maths, and so need support in education. They may also have other difficulties, e.g. behavioural problems. But these are usually associated with issues such as social or psychological deprivation, rather than a lack of understanding. They can live usually independently, with no or little support, and have an understanding of general social functioning. People who have specific learning difficulties have problems in learning that are restricted to one or two specific areas. These difficulties are not related to intellectual limitations, but to specific processing problems that are independent of their overall intelligence. Other areas of functioning and development may be slightly delayed, but are within the normal range. Dyslexia is a good example of a specific learning difficulty. People with dyslexia have problems with reading, writing, spelling, sequencing, etc., which may have a disabling effect on their educational experiences and life opportunities, but have normal intelligence and can function independently. Many people with dyslexia are very intelligent and or highly successful. What is developmental delay? This term is usually only used with children and can be either specific or global. Children with specific developmental delay will be behind in a particular area, e.g. language skills, but in all other regards their development is normal. Children with global developmental delay will have been late in reaching their developmental milestones and will be behind their peers in a range of areas, e.g. language, motor skills, social skills. When children are very young, it is sometimes difficult to tell if they have a global developmental delay or a learning disability, as in both cases, their development and skills are significantly behind with what would have been expected. However, the key difference is that a child with a developmental delay continues to show evidence of development and continues to acquire personal, social, and educational skills and abilities, just at a later age than their peers. Whereas the development of children with learning disabilities slows down and the gap between themselves and their age peers increases over a period of time.